Light it
I
up a
know,
little.
yeah, I don't want my ticket yet. I was asking
Okay.
him.
Well, that's why
He'd be right here.
So I wanted to bring my nephew.
Because I thought,
I got it. I got it. I got it. I can do it.
Mama said she want to go, so guess what?
Yeah.
It might not sound good, but
we're full of stuff. And the other one's a
Step out
handicap.
for a cocktail before and then go.
So, want to make him keep the four?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, no, we're not gonna, we're gonna go into the, with the planning and zoning. Well, like, we don't like to overrule them, but sometimes, this one absolutely, I see why they went, and he enjoyed it.
But he appealed.
The funnel vortex dimension.
He might just show up, yeah.
100%
Could have saved yourself.
100% failure in 7 years max. Because of Scott, who I was real close to, got it about 3 or 4 years ago and died 2 years ago. It was a tough day for
why you
me.
let me leave my glasses?
You know, Ty was the best man at my wedding.
You shouldn't have to read that. Oh, man.
Yeah.
About best.
Oh, we got to read something.
Yeah,
You got
it's
cooking
terrible.
tomorrow?
Like I just
Oh, I need to call you. I've been
said he's been struggling with memory problems for about the last year or
I'm
two.
supposed to be a judge.
So, anyway,
one last case. Normally do it.
really. Yeah. Well, anyway, he didn't really tell me to tell anybody or not to tell anybody, but I knew you would
bowl
want to
tonight?
know. And,
Tonight, Tuesday.
golly, I mean, I'm telling you, life just feels short. Yeah. If you want me to do it, I'll do it. If you want to do it, sure. I will do it if you don't want to.
Okay.
Yeah, what you say?
I don't mind.
Okay.
You want that fire?
You wasn't expecting that.
No, you still want us to buy the fire truck, doesn't it?
No,
I don't
said
think they're
they
going
ain't
to do
do
us.
what
We're
we
in the
can
middle of a
do.
turnaround.
And you off?
You've been, she just came back to work. You ready?
No, did you start it?
Which one?
My thing.
Yes. Yes. I started it. We're going to call this meeting to order. Ask Mr. Beeson now to lead us in the pledge, now lead us in the prayer. Oh, Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for another day that you've given us, Father God. Through your grace and your mercy, you have allowed us to see this day, Lord. I pray and ask that this meeting will be conducted decent and in order, and that we may be fruitful and make the city a better place. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of
America,
to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes.
Ms. Renee? Ms. Shelley?
Yes, sir. Appointments. Appoint a chairman to review bids to purchase fire truck equipment for use by the Lake Charles Fire Department. Appoint a chairman to review bids for project number CP 3309, Ham Reed Road, Waterline Extension, Elliott Road to Big Lake Road. Public hearings. An ordinance ordering demolition and authorizing the city of Lake Charles to enter into an agreement for demolition of a structure located at 1517 Martha Street. Don Eric Muhammad, owner. Another demolition at 1621 2nd Avenue, Judith Lynn Pichon Estate and Amber Henry, owners. Another demolition at 711 Fall Street, Rose Young Fontenot and Frank Fontenot, owners. Another demolition at 2201 Highway 171, Jasmine Family Property, LLC, Elaine Marie Landry, Calderon Estate, Robert Earl Landry, Bellin Landry Jr., and Sonia Lisa Landry Page, owners, subject to a tax sale to the state of Louisiana. Another demolition at 1400 North Shattuck Street, Clevin Nash and Elvira Nash owners. Another demolition at 18th Street, Randall Booth Whitaker and Cheryl Patricia Whitaker owners. Another demolition at 1505 McNabb Street, Tyron Gerard Nickerson owner. Another demolition at 411 Gelpy Drive, Gerard, no middle initial, Mellon Senior owner. Another demolition at 317 South Louisiana Avenue, front house only, Grace Smith, Ulrich Y. Price, Charles Y. Price, Monica Manker Russell, Marcia Manker, and Gregory Manker, owners. Ordinances for final action. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsible bid and authorizing the City of Lake Charles to enter into agreement to purchase one new three-wheel sweeper for use by the Public Works Department, Streets Division. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsible bid and authorizing the City of Lake Charles to enter into an agreement for project number LCR 401, Lock Park Inclusive Playground, and amend the budget as necessary. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsible bid and authorizing the City of Lake Charles to enter into an agreement for project number CP 3140, Millennium Park Fall Service Replacement. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsible bid and authorizing the City of Lake Charles to enter into an agreement for project number DR 002, Public Works New Facility Phase 2, and amend the budget as necessary. An ordinance authorizing the removal of the yield sign on Center Street at Sycamore Street and authorizing the installation of a stop sign on Center Street at its intersection with Sycamore Street, creating a three-way stop. Resolutions. A resolution setting date for public hearing and consideration of the Lake Charles Planning and Zoning Commission's decision to deny a request for a special exception in order to reduce required 4 parking spaces to 3 parking spaces for existing oil change business within a business zoning district at 4820 Nelson Road. A resolution authorizing the City of Lake Charles to advertise to receive sealed bids for project number CP 3520, wastewater treatment plant A, basin A02, sewer rehabilitation with a companion ordinance. A resolution authorizing the City of Lake Charles to advertise to receive sealed bids to purchase the bus stop signage for use by the Public Works Department Transit Division with a companion ordinance. Ordinances for introduction. Introduction of an ordinance modifying Chapter 21-2B of the Code of Ordinances for the City of Lake Charles, Louisiana, to adopt a rate structure commensurate with the 2025 water rate study. Introduction of an ordinance authorizing the City of Lake Charles to implement a pay increase to Ward 3 Marshal's Office employees and to adjust the Ward 3 Marshal's Office pay plan accordingly. An ordinance authorizing the City of Lake Charles to implement a pay increase to Lake Charles City Court employees and to adjust the Lake Charles City Court pay plan accordingly. An ordinance authorizing the City of Lake Charles to implement a pay increase to career service, non-career, part-time, and temporary employees and to adjust the City of Lake Charles pay plan accordingly. An ordinance authorizing the City of Lake Charles to implement a pay increase to civil service employees within the Lake Charles Fire Department and to adjust the Lake Charles Fire Department pay matrix accordingly. Introduction of an ordinance authorizing the City of Lake Charles to implement a pay increase to civil service employees within the Lake Charles Police Department. An ordinance authorizing the City of Lake Charles to enter into a professional service agreement with Moffett and Nickel. Another ordinance authorizing a professional service agreement with Providence Engineering. Another ordinance for entering a professional service agreement with Spell Structural Consulting, LLC. Another ordinance for a professional services agreement with Lonsall Engineers, Inc. Another ordinance for professional services agreement with Elos Environmental. Another professional services agreement with Blue Wing Civil Consulting, LLC. And number 32 and 33 are the companion ordinances, and that's all I have.
Okay, at this time, I want to take a little time out before we get into the business and wish Miss Renee a happy birthday. She helps the council to do many things and to keep us in order. So I want to know that want her to know that from us, she's appreciated. and we value you very much. In fact, happy birthday
To you, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Renee. Happy birthday to you.
talk right now, so we'll catch you next couple weeks.
You look beautiful at 40, Renee.
All right. Now that that's out the way, Mr. Bilbo.
Okay, I got a couple things today. A couple of meetings ago, I brought up the possibility of annexing the area to the south of Morganfield and southeast to see if we even looked into it, because we always want businesses in District C, but we need population, we need homes, we need two households to bring in business. Apartment complexes don't look at that as when they come look at stats to bring in businesses and stuff like that. Just so we can check into that, see where we at, if it's a possibility or whatever. I know we got to combine roles or can't jump over properties, but at least look at it and see if we can. I ain't got my glasses, so I'm trying. My mama sent me a picture. I forgot my papers at home. I've been getting a lot of calls on the people using the old Kroger parking lot for business. And we figured that they're not getting permission from the people who own that whole parking lot. We need to check into it and see if there's any ordinances in place. I know we can't do this on the weekend, but come Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays, there's numerous amount of people out there just parking a parking lot, cooking with barbecue pits, and that's not a good look.
And I think that being private property, if it's posted no trespassing, the ordinances would apply. We'd have to get together with that property owner and see if they're
Just
giving permission for that.
Clarification, Mr. Bilbo, you talking about Kroger's or?
I just call it old Kroger's. I'm on Highway 14.
14, that shopping
I always say Kroger's because that's what it was when I grew up.
Walgreens.
Yeah.
Walgreens parking lot.
Huh?
No.
No,
shopping center.
Kroger's. They got a Walgreens.
Heck, I'm thinking 12th Street Kroger.
Yeah,
Okay, you're right.
14 and Walgreens. Thank you. Both of them on weekends is loaded. I don't know.
Mr. Bilbo, just for informational purposes only, that site is going through a zoning review right now. It's being redeveloped by a company that's moving into there with a new development, so maybe that will help as the new owner to eliminate some of that unauthorized
That's
traffic.
Walgreens, right?
No,
Kroger's too?
Kroger site.
Okay,
Kroger's
okay.
too.
Just an FYI.
Thank you. Since first month in office, the people in Oak Park been complaining about Miami Tire. It's almost a blight. Just last week, I saw the tire company truck moving through our streets trying to get through because the fence has never been closed. I know we're supposed to check to see, because it has the middle street in the middle, that made it separate from having to have a fence. But it look like the fence not getting cut. It's getting more and more than they not backing up, they taking it through the neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with that site. I think we have reached out to the property owner. Paula, I'm not speaking out of turn, but I think we required them to put up the fence, and I think they agreed to do it, but we will follow up and make sure that they are going to honor their agreement that they had with us.
Got a new sign.
Yeah, they got a new sign. Okay, and I know things happen, but the Rose Tulip area, I call them the flower streets, the area behind Jones, Progressive, all that area, I've been getting so many complaints about things just happening. And I know we're not the police, and I don't know if we can get more patrol, but it's becoming to where the older people in my area is just scared to come out their house. And I don't know all the ordinances, but I would love to put something in place. I asked before that we got to hold these landlords accountable for who they rent to. You know what I'm saying? If they renting to a person, they come in and get caught for drugs, you should be liable for what you rent to. You're not checking into what's going on in the place that you making money. So we ought to can get them an occupational license or see who this is, who they are. If it's the same person keep having these same problems, who landlords, we need to better hold them accountable, because you're bringing in the violence into the neighborhood by who you renting to. I don't know if you got property management or you just don't even care who you renting to, but we need to better hold them accountable for who's staying in their homes. And that's why I asked one day about having, like, once you get 2 or 3 properties, you need to register as an occupational license. That's a business. Even as a landlord, you running a business in the city of Lake Charles. You collecting rent, you paying taxes. Well, we need to better find out who you are if it's the same people having trouble in your residence, in your homes. So I would love to even look at an ordinance and see if anything we can do about something like that.
Yeah, man, I've heard a lot of concerns from the residents over there, similarly on the flower streets. That's what we call them, the flower streets.
Flower streets. And it's now starting to migrate to the area behind Jones. And before I lose the whole district, we need to get a hold onto it. I don't know if it's more traffic, I know we just can't dedicate cops to my area, but something that we know that's an area getting called upon more often.
Yeah.
And it's not homeowners, it's renters, you know.
Yeah, and that's certain things that can be done, especially if there's some activity that's illegal that gone in that area. We'll talk to the chief about it.
Okay.
And to add to that, Mr. Bilbo, Chief, I just want to be, now I got 2 calls today, and the word on the street is that there's a little gang running in the flower streets called the Flower Pot Boys. So there's been a lot of concern about that.
So let me just address this real quick, and it's Deputy Chief Gode with the PD. So a lot of benefit comes from neighborhood watch groups, and they organize with our neighborhood patrol officers. And what our NPOs do, the neighborhood patrol officers do, is they do problem-oriented policing. So when they identify that there's a frequent problem, like kind of what you're describing, they can dig into it, and then they get help from other departments and find out ways to attack those particular problems. Patrolmen typically aren't able to dig that deep because they're busy. They're running call to call to call. So it's better to organize with our NPOs, but we need people on the ground who know what's going on too. So you got to get your neighbors in that district involved as well. And that's always the challenge, is getting people who are willing to come forward, especially because a lot of times they're complaining about their own neighbors, getting them to come forward and cooperate and help our NPOs to solve the problems. But if we can do that together, we can get it done.
Okay.
And Chief, just to be clear, when you say get involved, they don't have to go out there and be front and center and confront anybody. They just need to have eyes and ears and let law enforcement see if there's
Sure.
unauthorized activity.
Attending the meetings is always helpful, but they don't have to, right? If they can just, let us know things that are going on, that's helpful as well. We can work with that.
They can be anonymous.
Absolutely.
You see, for me, not taking it from the chief, I just want to go a little step further. If I own rental property, but I take pride to know who I rent to. My wife go there at least once or twice a month to make sure our apartments or things kept up nice, or what was even going on inside of it. I think the person who owns the property should be liable for what's going on in his residence.
And that probably is worth it if people don't live in the neighborhoods, but they're profiting from them, but it becomes a problem for those neighborhoods. That maybe the right to do business needs to be checked on that. So we'll take a look at
I
that.
think that's a fine line too. I mean, a business is a business. I think what should happen is that the violations need to be pinned on the owner as opposed to just calling them. Because if I rent to somebody, I'm probably not gonna go check on them every day either. But now if I got a situation where drug being run out the house, then now I need to know about that, or violence or whatever the case may be. I don't know the legalities of it. If there's any law we can put in to make somebody screen their renters, that's more of an individual thing, wouldn't you say?
That ordinance we were recently talking about with the business that we were having the issues with, where we talked about potentially assessing the fine against the owner, does that apply? That was like a bar, restaurant establishment. To your knowledge, would that apply in a residential setting like this? I mean, I can check myself, but I just didn't know if you might know off the top of your head.
Well, I've got an example where we had an apartment complex that was kind of getting out of control, and it was affecting the residential area surrounding that. And we started to organize things with our MPOs, with the neighbors, with our councilmen, and then with the apartment complex itself, the owners, the managers of the apartment complex. Some changes were made with the apartment complex, and they got in line with our ordinances. And all we really did was we just had to spell it all out for them, and they got in line, and now there's no
There
problem.
was a potential fine that can apply to the owner.
Sure, absolutely. More than that, they could have lost their license to operate. I don't know if that would extend to the private
I think it
homes,
would.
but
I mean, if it's commercial rental
Yes.
real estate, it's
If you're
commercial
renting it,
rental
maybe.
real estate. I mean, once you become a landlord, you're commercial.
And once, and always the best enforcement mechanism is if people are profiting from illegal activity, by the time you find them and take the profit out, they have to come to a different type of business decision, whether it's worth it, they're not making any money, and people in their house doing crazy stuff.
so if we can all get together and figure it out one thing at a time, eventually the problem goes away.
Okay.
And just, Mr. Bilbo, I think we already have it in our ordinance, Ms. Paula can attest to it, that if we find that rental property so many times, it goes against their taxes, the owner's taxes, not the renter.
Okay, 'cause I do believe I know we have a lot of old ordinances, but I don't believe they got enough teeth in it. They don't bite you hard enough to make you want to do something. We talk about the same things all the time, and I go sit down with Ms. Paula, or we didn't find them. I said, well, if I'm getting $1,000 a month and I only got to pay $50, I'm not losing.
That's
Mr.
right.
Bilbo, I'll take a look at that ordinance and see.
Yeah, I'm
if
not
I think
losing.
We could possibly amend it and put a little more teeth in it.
Put more little teeth in. That's businesses in the districts, and everyone districts. I got one on corner of Prairie Lake and Fireway 14. Man, I know he had 300 tires out this weekend. He got warned, and they was all out there just everywhere. And you only can dispose, 5 a day? It'll take him 2 months just to get rid of them. And you're only supposed to have so many. I don't think we have enough teeth in it when we punishment. We bring them in, then we want to be nice. But that don't stop the blights in District C. That don't stop when we coming off that everybody about to be forced down 210. That's the first thing they gonna see is that business. I don't want that to be the first thing they come once they shut down this bridge and everybody forced to come 210. I don't want that to be the first thing they see. I'm never gonna grow. It's just nobody gonna want to come be around that. Sure. All right. My last thing. I've been having more, and I didn't believe kids still did that today. I've been having more kids out of T.H. Watkins and Oak Park Elementary actually walking home. So I went and I was standing out there. They all got the 4-way stop signs. I don't know what it'll take to get them little speed things,
Yeah, rumbles.
them little by the schools. Because these kids really walking home now. And I'm talking about, I was short, but these like some little staff steppers. They look like 5, 6-year-olds. Just something hesitant, just things on the ground that may prevent you from wanting to run a stop sign when these kids walking home today. I got 2 elementaries within a block of me. I don't know what it takes. I hope we ain't had to do a whole study just to put some.
I think we had a grant that came up maybe 2 years ago. There was a grant to put the walking arrows where you punch the sign and it tells you to walk. Maybe we can reach out to, I think it came from MCAL. MCAL the last time was the one that did that study. Maybe they have something going on that we could reach out to them.
Are these areas that have lights, red lights already?
It's just stop signs.
Stop signs?
Just
Yeah,
stop
'cause
signs.
you're
But
gonna
I'm
have-
talking about, I don't want to stretch it. I see 100 kids walking home today. Between T.H. Watkins and Oak Park, they're only 2 blocks. Not the junior high, they old enough. But the elementary and Oak Park Elementary and T.H. Watkins Elementary, they got a lot of kids walking home.
And Mayor, just for clarification, the stop signs, the distance between them coming and where the stop sign is where the speed comes.
Yeah.
Like on 4th Avenue between Prairie Lake Road and Oak Park Boulevard, those cars get up a lot of speed before they come to the stop sign.
Okay.
So that's what the concern is.
Yeah. This, you know,
Okay.
we gotta look at it, but
Yeah.
they walking it's warm now, so I only gonna know it's gonna get more
More kids walking. yeah.
more kids gonna be walking before the end of school this May.
Okay. Yeah, we're not gonna let,
I
we
think
gotta,
that's
we gotta
it.
protect those little
That's
ones.
it.
Mr. Fundale. Got anything?
The only thing I have is the homelessness. There's a camp set up right there on Kirkman, right by the interstate. This guy got at least a 30 by 20 tent set up that he lives in. I'm saying guy, I'm assuming it's a guy. And it's been there, I don't, the same person has called me 2 or 3 times. It's taking forever to get him moved. Now, it's owned by this DOT, that's DOT property, but there's got to be something where we can have that
It's a city ordinance.
that guy removed quicker than this. It's there probably right now. I didn't pass today, but
By the turnaround,
if you're going down Kirkman and Prairie Lake Road,
Prairie
right
Lake.
before 210 overpass, you can
210.
actually see it
I've heard
from
that.
Kirkman. It's a blue tent.
I saw it a couple days ago.
Yeah.
It's right
a-
at the embankment.
Yeah. And I called Miss Paula about it. I'm just saying, and there's a lot of homelessness. Is there anything to address? Do we have anything going to address homelessness?
We're trying to deal with a number of people on the unhoused issue, because one thing is to find places to house them, but what we've talking with the people that's dealing with it, you can't just move them anywhere because they come back because they have to panhandle. So unless you have some way to feed them and do a lot of other things, they're gonna keep coming back and going where they need to get
So
funds.
there's no collective way between us, the parish, and everybody. I mean, it's all of our problem.
We're trying to work
But
on
there
it.
is no homeless effort going.
There's no homeless center that's designated for people to go to.
Well, we need to start
Oh, trust
addressing
me,
it.
yes, we do.
I don't know exactly how, but because when the guy called me, he was complaining it's all over town, and he got me to looking, and I can tell you about. I started to pay attention, and I see them all over the place. They got little spots set up where somebody's living there. You know.
There's a lot
And-
more than people would imagine.
And as a city, we're gonna have to do something to address that issue. I don't know what, but we have no homeless shelter other than the Salvation Army. I know this has been an ongoing issue, but I think it's time that we start to think about addressing it.
Yeah, and I remember that was an effort to turn the Rosti School area into a homeless shelter, but that had a lot of pushback from the community. So it becomes a place, where would you put them, and then how would you service them? Because if not, they're going to have to come back and panhandle. So even New Orleans for the Super Bowl, they cleaned that entire homeless population out from underneath the interstate and put them somewhere in the east. But if you come back, even where they fenced off, they're on the sidewalks now, because until you find ways to feed and provide services to them, they're going to come back wherever they can panhandle, and they're trying to survive. So it's a holistic process that has to be done.
I did get a call a while back from the pastor over at Mount Olive.
Braylon Harris.
Yeah, he was asking about the old Purple Heart place, and so he's a part of a group that address homeless. That they've been trying to address homeless issues, So maybe we can surface that group and start to have some discussions about what could we do, because we're gonna have to increase it somehow. Just ignoring it is not gonna clear it up.
Yeah, I don't think it can be ignored. We're going to look into it. You're going to run into the same problem. You talking about the old Purple Heart over there by
No,
Chanel?
he just mentioned. I told him it wasn't available. He just mentioned that he would like to do some homeless work. Is what I'm
Right.
trying to say. So it sounds like he's in that effort and had some idea. So we can call a group of these pastors, and I know they got a place, and they got a couple of, I know the parish has an effort going with the homeless also. So we need to all get together and see what we can do to start addressing it.
But we'll contact and see what the parish is doing and see what.
And I've been out with Catholic Charities. I know they got a big outreach going, but we just don't. We need to do more. See what we can do to help that effort.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it, Ms. Fundy? Mr. Young?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to take a minute to spotlight a recent appointment to a state board. I know we've all seen insurance rates, property insurance specifically, skyrocket, especially since the storms. And as I understand it, the one city department that has any bearing on insurance rates is our fire department, and that's our fire rating that comes into consideration. So whenever I saw that Chief Carter had been the only fire chief appointed to the Property Insurance Association of Louisiana Board, I was really, really excited for that opportunity. I know that Chief Carter is going to represent us well, and I wish you luck. But most of all, congratulations on that appointment, sir. That's a big win for Lake Charles.
Congratulations.
That's it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Beasley?
I'm sorry, Miss Paula, you came up about the homeless. So is there any way we can expedite getting that removed other than?
No, I spoke with Tyson, the DOTD. They actually have two new laws that are in place that deal with homeless situations. And he asked me about our protocol, and I let him know. So he got with LCPD, and they came up with a protocol to where they could actually remove the person from that area and from DOTD properties. Before, they had nothing.
Okay.
Now they do. Part of their protocol listed in the law is that they have to contact local agencies like the social services and stuff like that. So they're waiting on feedback from them before they can actually go in and remove them and clean the area and remove all the overgrowth, which is what they're going to address on state properties if they see homeless. They're also going out and they are going to remove the overgrowth so that there won't be the encampments anymore. So that's DOTD.
So the overgrowth is causing the encampments?
Well,
Give 'em a
I
place
mean,
to
they
hide.
like being
No,
hidden.
give them a place to hide.
So, yes, it will address most of that, but before, they had nothing to address it. I mean, you would see the guys underneath the, the overpass over there by I-10, just camping out with all their little tents and stuff. So, now they have something in place. The only thing that we have in place is our protocol,
What is
where...
our protocol?
Normally, if we get a complaint about a homeless encampment, we contact PD. They go out there, they either give citations or remove the person, then they contact us, and we get our contractor out to clean the place up. Normally, PD gives them a certain amount of time to get all their stuff out, and they let us know what that deadline is, and then we go in and clean it up. They do come back, though. We have nothing in place that removes them from the property and keeps them away. They do come back, so.
Well, just so we're addressing it, because the same person has been calling me, wondering
Yes.
why we hadn't done. He was supposed to show up. He might be in the audience. That's why.
Well, I mean, in that
yes,
situation,
there
that is DOTD property. We have no jurisdiction over that. But I'm glad that Tyson is handling it. And like I had spoken to him, the day before you had called me about it.
So our
So-
process usually don't take as long.
No.
Okay.
But Councilman Fonda, I think the fundamental problem is, even if you remove people from one area, unless you have a place to house them, you're really just kicking the can down the road. So that's the fundamental thing that we need to look at is how to shelter people. And also, when I talk to the people about unhoused, every person has their own individual story about why they're homeless. It could be that some lost one lost track of them, that they have mental health issues, other things. So it's going to be a matter of finding a place to house them where the communities don't get upset, but also bring in the type of services that's going to support them and feed them. For instance, Abraham's Tent, a lot of other places they know, a lot of people know where the unhoused are. Our transit system provides transportation for them to get there so they can get food, because it's a humane problem that we have to address, but we have to be compassionate about how we do it. So the first thing is to put them in a place and get them the type of services that's going to at least help them get on their feet, the ones that can, so that they're not having to go back and panhandle because there's nothing, they got to survive, you know?
And I went to an event where even the state was involved. Like I say, the parish was there, Catholic Charities, a bunch of these different organizations that deals with the homeless group was there. I don't remember seeing the city there as a part of that particular thing, but we can help with that. We can join that, I'm sure, that effort to address it.
Yeah.
There are some efforts going, but we can do better at joining that effort.
Yeah.
And learning more about it. Okay? Yeah.
I have a question in regards to that, Chief. Ms. Paula said something about DOTD property. So you telling me if somebody's on DOTD property, which is considered the sides of the highway, that the city don't have jurisdiction to make them move?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know why we wouldn't, if it's inside the city, why we wouldn't have a jurisdiction to take some kind of action. Now, homelessness is an unusual problem, and it's not local to Lake Charles either. I mean, this is a society-wide problem, right? And everybody's kind of stuck where we are, where we don't know exactly how to deal with it. You know, you don't want to be too heavy-handed with someone who's homeless. That doesn't have the right appearance, but if you do nothing, they don't go away either. So
I'm just trying to get some clarity on, are the sides of the highway, do we have jurisdiction, or is that DOTD?
I was only talking about the Property Standards Department, not PD.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's our department.
All right, okay.
Wait, before you go, I can get one more question in. I've been having a lot of problems with illegal dumping also. And is there any ordinance or any?
So ordinance.
Yeah, that's ordinances.
Oh, yeah, because people, they dumping. You know, my wife sent me some pictures, they dumping crawfish and.
Give us the locations. Sometimes I know that we used to have those with tires on the Fitz and Rod and Goss area, and we got it cleaned up, but we also put out some deer cameras, and we were able to identify the people that was dumping.
Okay.
And also in regards to that, I learned something dealing with Mr. Fundale, that when somebody dump on a person's property, don't just assume that the city is gonna come clean it up. That property owner is liable
The property owner is liable.
and will be charged.
I don't know if they can see it, but I can pass it down.
Oh, it's tires.
It's tires.
Oh, that's a place, that y'all was working out right
That was,
Or they're just driving down the road, getting rid of it.
and just drop them off and.
We would find that people that wanted to wait to the scrap metal yard, anything that the scrap metal yard wouldn't accept, they were just dumping them on the side of the road. So
Yeah, they just dumping.
we started monitoring those areas.
That's it, Mr. Bibble?
Yeah, that's it. I'll show y'all
Mr.
when we get
Vizinoff?
through.
I'm going to be quick. I want to say thank you for yesterday for the public meeting about the Sale Street Bridge project. I was hoping more people would come. I know I'm going to get phone calls about it, but I appreciate the effort. And that was all I was going to say. But I also brought it up yesterday. There is an area that's going to be in the closed street area between Holly Hill and Timberlawn, where there is the same thing that's going on that Mr. Fondell talked about. There's an area right there by our lift station that has been used as a homeless encampment. I'd like to see us take advantage of the fact that the traffic's going to be gone and clear that, so that that's not an issue anymore. I know we cut the grass there anyway. It's gonna have to be cut or whatever. But if we take advantage of that opportunity when there's no traffic there, it should be relatively easy to do. So, just consider that.
This area with a lot of overgrowth.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and it has. Some of the neighbors have talked to me about homeless people putting tents up and this and that. And it just seems like it'd be a good opportunity to take care of that when there's no traffic there. So, thank you.
All right. I'm gonna continue in that same spirit. On the corner of Warren and Prairie Lake Road, there's a tire shop. That tire shop seems to be turning into a junkyard. They got trucks, they got vehicles in the front and on the side, 24/7. If it's a tire place, they shouldn't be storing. I'm gonna say that many cars shouldn't be storing there. They even got for sale signs on some of the vehicles. This is the second or third time that I've reported this particular site, and it's getting worse and worse. There's also a truck in the lot next to it. I'm assuming the truck comes from the tire place, and it's stalled in the middle of the lot. So I think something needs to be done, some attention. I think we should be at the finding stage with this particular piece of property or business, because this has been reported 2 or 3 times in the past. The other thing is, Ms. Paul, I have a question in regards to the Oak Park area. I know we're a little different. We got the alleys in the back, and the ordinance states that parked cars with no license plates can't be in the front of the house. But the way our alleys are made, it's just as visible as the front of the house. So does the parked cars being not on the proper surface, being in the driveway that's been there for some time with no license plate, does that still apply in the alleys to the back?
It has to be out of public view. So it doesn't matter if it's in the front or back.
Okay.
It has to be out of public view. I do realize that if it has an expired inspection sticker and no license plate, that those should be enforced. But there are numerous people that can't afford their insurance, or their child is in the military and they cut the insurance off, but they want to keep the car. You know, there's different circumstances that we look into to allow them to keep the vehicle. Now, if it's no license plate, we tell them to park it where the back of the vehicle is towards the house where we can't see that portion, to keep it, and we like it on an improved surface. So each case is different, but yes, we do enforce that. But like I said, each case is different. We do give leeway for some special cases, but it has to be out of public view, you know, as far as like inoperable vehicles. If the vehicle's inoperable, absolutely, that's a violation. You know, we would prefer for it to be off the property.
Well, I got 2, 2101 22nd in the alley and 2120 21st Street in the alley. Both of those are cars that have been there for a while. Now, I don't know if it's military related.
I don't know.
Or what, but those cars, I'd like to report those property standards issues. 2806 Warren Street. You'll know this house as soon as you turn off of Oak Park Boulevard on the Warren. It got about 7 cars in the front yard, and one of them they got 4 bricks under it. And then there's a car in the street, a Cadillac, that's been wrecked in the back and covered. It's been sitting there for a while. So if we could take a look at that. 1204 18th Street. That's right across from the center where they do when people get hurt, athletics get hurt and they go there. That yard, you'll see the house, they got stoves, ice boxes, everything just right there visible. And you can see that from Enterprise Boulevard. That's a high visible area right there. 20 at the corner of 21st and 4th Avenue. I didn't get the particular address, but it's the first house on that corner on the south side of 21st Street. The overgrowth in the alley that house it appears to be vacant, but I reported this house on several occasions. But when you turn down the alley, your car is going to get all scraped up because the trees are now growing into the alley. So if we could take a look at that.
Sure, Mr. Marks, is that First Street or First Avenue?
Warren and First Avenue. 21st and 4th Avenue, the one I just said about the overgrowth?
Yes.
That's 21st and 4th Avenue. And it'll be the south corner. First house when you turn off of 4th Avenue on the 21st Street. The other thing is Walmart. I know we talked about Walmart before, but I've been to several Walmarts. The one on Nelson, the one on 171, none of them are like the one on Highway 14. They got to do a better job of cleaning up this parking lot on a nightly basis. It's a lot of trash. It's a lot of everything going there. I know I reached out to corporate before, and it still doesn't seem like it's anything being done. And now that they have the delivery and all that other kind of stuff, it's making it worse, especially around the gas station area behind the restaurants. So if it's some way we can reach out to corporate and get them to get on board with us, or fine them, treat them like a regular business.
Well, that's commercial litter, so yes.
I want to go in a different direction now. Is there any funding that comes to the city, I don't care where it comes from, that it does not have to come before the city council before the money is spent?
All money that is spent is in the budget or has a budget amendment. Can you maybe clarify?
Let's say we get some money from OCD, or we get some money from some other entity, and it comes into our pot, and we want to take X amount of that money and use on whatever project it is. Does the city council have to have review of that?
You have review in that most grants, such as OCD, is a reimbursement grant. So the money has been spent before OCD ever gives money back to the city.
Mm-hmm.
So for something like OCD, and we're spending money in for grants, we have to whoever we are working with the grant will show us the expenses. Then we show that to OCD. Then OCD reimburses us.
Well, we've had situations such as we've been given money that wasn't reimbursement. We may have gotten it from, let's say on the 5th floor, they give us a pot of money, right?
No, sir.
No, so every dollar we get is reimbursement?
Yes, sir. There was one grant that we received from the U.S. Department of Nature or something. What was it? Forestry. They gave us $400 and something thousand for a tree grant. We had to park that money until they told us it was okay to use it. The current presidential administration took the money back, and so we never spent it.
So when we getting our money for, like, to build elderly houses and things like that, that's reimbursement money?
Yes, sir.
That's new to me. So we get no dollars from the federal government. That's not reimbursement.
Correct. Our money that we get back from FEMA, OCD, HUD, whoever else from the 5th that works on through the 5th floor, that's all reimbursement.
So, okay, let me say it this way. The projects we got coming up with we're working on the sub-recipient agreements for them.
Yes, sir.
All of that funding coming in is reimbursement money?
Yes, sir. None of it comes to us until it's spent.
I guess I'm not understanding. When we're giving these money to Second Harvest and Greater St. Mary and all these places, we've already spent that money and the government is giving it back to us.
Once we spend it, we haven't really spent much yet, but once we spend it, yes, we have to make a claim to either the state, OCD, or HUD to get reimbursed for those expenditures, yes.
Well, I understand what you're saying. You're saying we do something and we apply to the government to get paid back.
Correct.
But I'm talking about when we initially spend it, does that have to come under the purview
Yes.
of the city council?
Yes.
That's what I was asking. Okay. So, have we gotten, I'm through with that one. Have we gotten the documents for the site approval of the sports complex? I've been asking for that for 3 months. And I was told one time we had it. One time we got a verbal agreement. The next time it'll be ready in 2 weeks. 3 months later, and I have still yet to, or the council has still yet to see that documentation.
So, Marcus, I spoke to OCD today about that. They're waiting. There's a final approval of the entirety of the application because this isn't a project by project. OCD is their money. We're a sub-recipient. So they're requesting a couple of other things, and then they're going to do a total authorization. They said that site has been approved, but if you're looking for an actual formal letter that says this site has been approved, it's going to talk about sites, funding, everything else. So they want to do it all in one shot. They don't want to just send out a letter that says, I told them the city council wants to see an actual confirmation from you that the site has been approved for movement. They said that's already done, but we're not going to do separate things. We're going to do the entire authorization. So they're waiting.
I'm not understanding that, Mayor. I'm not under. When we did this initial project, we got a documentation saying site approval. Everything was in it. And this one, we just applied to move. And we can't get confirmation in some sort of writing that says, hey, this site been approved, we can go forward.
As far as if you're talking about something from the state Office of Community Development saying the site of the complex has been moved from Fitz and Ryder to
Exactly.
the lakefront. That's they've approved it, but they said if a formal approval comes in with the entirety of these things. So there's no individual document that says that.
But we got an individual document that said Fitzgerald Road was approved.
I haven't seen that document.
That was the original document that we presented in the discussion, that it said that this site here has been approved for the sports complex. Now we're moving it, and all I'm asking for is that same document. And they say they can't give it to us until, I don't know what the totality of the program is.
They've got the financial assessments program, income application, those things, and they said they're going to do the approval of everything.
Okay.
So are we spending money on the project?
No.
The city is not spending any money moving forward with that?
You talking about on the sports complex?
Yes.
We sent out the RFP that you guys authorized for the design group.
For the architect, right?
Yeah, for the architects.
And when do we close that bid?
That's the deadline for that to come in is, I think, sometime in April.
So what did we send out to the architect?
You have to, because it's federal dollars, you have to qualify an architect.
Okay, we're just qualifying, so we hadn't spent any money on it.
That's correct.
It's a very, because it's a very specialized facility, we send out a request for qualifications for people that actually build these types of facilities. It's not just anybody can build this type of facility, so we got to make sure that they're qualified.
Okay.
So the document that we received before actually was approval of this facility itself as a project, not necessarily the site itself. Now that site was in that particular application,
Right,
but it
'cause I
wasn't
know I saw it.
necessarily saying, hey, we're approving this site, we're approving the project.
But in that documentation, I got the copy that says Fitzgerald Road is approved. So all I'm asking
It was
is,
just because it was listed as the site.
okay, so
But it
now
was-
we
Yeah,
from what the mayor said, I'm just trying to understand what totality is. What do we have to wait
So they
on?
just, I mean, they're not gonna send you anything that says this site is approved.
Okay.
You know, I mean, it's assumed, they pretty much said everything, they've told us that it was, that the site was it was approved in terms of us being able to put it, that it was an eligible location. So that's as far as they've gone. And keep in mind with these things, unfortunately, they roll some of these programs out, and they hadn't figured everything out yet. So that's where we currently are. Will we? I mean, we may get one day. I'm not sure, but I've never seen anything, where they made any indication that they'd be.
So I
sent.
guess because we're spending their money, it's no really risk.
Yeah, and until they figure it out, I mean, we're just kind of in limbo waiting on something like that.
Okay.
All right.
All right. The second thing I have is, we approved almost 3 months ago to give the Lake Charles North some money. I've asked the administration for the document. We were supposed to come up with a cooperative endeavor agreement. I was told that we did one, and we were having a meeting, and nothing has ever come up with it. I mean,
So we sent it to Ezra Pettis probably about a month ago.
Okay.
And I just got a response from him on Thursday or Wednesday.
Okay.
And I ran that by the mayor. He had a couple of suggested changes, and I actually need to get back to him this week. We're fine with these changes.
Okay.
So, I mean, the document, as I appreciate it, all we have to do is make a couple changes and it's gonna get signed.
Okay, good deal.
So you heard back from Lake Charles?
Last week.
last
That's the attorney.
That they're in agreement with whatever.
Well, yes, they are. They had a couple of small changes that I felt like I needed to run by the mayor and the administrator, and they were good with those changes, and I was good with those changes. So I'm gonna contact Ezra either tomorrow or Thursday and let him know we're good to go. I'll make those changes and we'll get it signed.
Okay, appreciate that. The amphitheater. I've heard talk that we've got renderings done, all this stuff about the amphitheater. And just for clarity, I went back and I checked the records. The last time we discussed the amphitheater was in 2023. That's when we approved it so that it could be a part of Lake Charles rebound. Now, I have a problem with us moving on the amphitheater at the Civic Center when this council hasn't voted on that yet. We hadn't approved that site. We approved to spend money for an amphitheater. But there were a lot of questions from the last council, and I don't know about this council because we haven't discussed it. My concerns with spending money on that site is the fact that we need to make an amphitheater where we can generate funding. Unless somebody can show me, I don't see how, unless we close the street or something at the Civic Center, how are we gonna make that any more beneficial to the city where it is now by injecting $20 million in it? We may beautify it, we may do a lot of things to it, but my thinking, this is just my personal thinking, is that we need a facility that will generate income back to the city. And I can't see that in this amphitheater here. So long story short, I think I would like some discussions to go, because to hear it being said that we voted on that, that's not so. That's inaccurate, unless I'm wrong, and I stand to be corrected. But I was on the council previously. I remember when it was proposed. I remember when we voted on it. It was supposed to be a part of Lake Charles Rebound. Now we finna draw down on Lake Charles Rebound and go forward when this council hadn't had a time to discuss. I mean, we just going on, hey man, it's at the Civic Center, that's where we're gonna do it.
Mr. Marks, Councilman Marks, the people of the city voted on Lake Charles Rebound, so that the amphitheater as a project itself was voted upon.
Yes.
The location was being discussed, and there was one proposal, and the city had hired consultants to take a look at placing the amphitheater on the site of the Capital One Tower.
Right.
That was never voted upon, and the Capital One Tower site is now going to be where the sports complex is. Now, we did get back with the consultants and talk to them about that, and basically what they did, they looked at whether that concept that they were working on would fit at the current site of the amphitheater. They reoriented and it fit, so that's the site.
I'm gonna use what you just said, Mayor. We didn't vote on it at the Capital One site, and we didn't vote on it at the Civic Center site. We voted to do an amphitheater as a project as part of the Lake Charles Rebound. What I am saying is that this council should have a chance to discuss location. There may be a better location. My personal opinion is this site, what we have right now, is not conducive to injecting $20 million into. How are we gonna make money off of it? We can't block it off. If there's a concert going on, you can sit out at the beach or at the river and listen to the concert. You ain't gotta pay to go in. We've tried, my organization has tried to have things over there, and it's just not conducive. Now, if that becomes the decision of the council, I'm fine with it. But I think that we just can't move forward saying that, hey, because the consultants decided that it could fit there, that was just voted on as a project.
I tell you what, I'll go back and look at what was, because I'll go back and look at what was done for Lake Charles Rebound and what the parameters are. I know that, and the amphitheater was part of the 2006 bond election too, and I remember that was specifically to take the existing amphitheater and upgrade it, make it a modern facility. I'll see what the parameters were for that.
But let's not confuse 2006 with Lake Charles Rebound.
I'm saying I saw the presentations for Lake Charles Rebound, and those presentations to the public that they voted upon was for that existing amphitheater to be retrofitted. So,
well, I don't know what they showed on film. When we got behind the closed doors and we voted to put this in Lake Charles Rebound, we sold it to the people for a new amphitheater,
right,
which was the excitement of the Capital One site. So when the sports complex was decided to move, we never discussed what we're gonna do with this project. We just assume we're gonna go to the Lake Charles site. And all I'm asking is give this council a chance to listen, see if $20 million in that site is worth it.
Mr. Marks.
Yes, sir.
Listen, we're good with that. And
Okay.
I've met with all the council members. The only one I haven't met with is Mr. Harvey. We started meeting last week, and we got another meeting set up tomorrow. And in all those presentations, we're talking about rebuilding what we saw that was one of the Capital One site at the old site. So yes, it's up for discussion, but that's why we had the meeting. I was going through phase one, and all those phases, I said, our proposed site is the existing location. And the intent is to build it exactly what you saw. When it went to LC Rebound, it was not defined where it was going. In fact, the
Right.
intent was, at the time, probably rebuilding it where it was at. But we were also going to, hold on a second, we were also going to look at other sites along the, near the event center that was available to say, is there a better site? But all of these, when it went before LC Rebound and the voters, it was a project, it was to rebuild the amphitheater, and it did not say it was going to the CM Tower site or any site. So when we sat down with you guys, I was trying to let you know, that was our proposal right there, is to go to the existing site. And you're right, it's up to the council. I mean, y'all got some say in where it goes, but that's why we were having the discussions.
Okay, but if you remember, Ms. Cardone, when I met with you, I questioned this very thing that I'm questioning right now.
Understood.
And I also said, because you told me it wasn't a final draft, I said we'll wait to see what, the final draft, be clear, the final draft of the listing of the Lake Charles rebound projects, not that particular issue. So when we discussed it in 23, when this proposal first came out, it was presented to us and the council, the whole council, at the Capital One site. That's what sold it. Everybody on the council, and I think if you go back and you check the vote, it was 7-0. We all agreed that that Capital One site would be the ideal place for that project. That didn't happen. New council come in, things change. All I'm saying is that before we start infusing money into this project where it is now, we need to look at all these things, not just to have a project.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
And what I'm trying to say is, that's what I was met with the council. I'm
Right.
trying to get input from the council.
Right.
You voiced your concerns, some others had some, and some didn't. Some was good with the location. It's up to the council.
But
And we just haven't gotten that far yet. That's
Okay.
why you don't have the final draft yet.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Fundy.
I was in the meeting. I hope that wasn't a discussion of, we didn't get into any detail in the meeting I was in. Everything was preliminary look. It was never said that anything was finalized.
Mr.
There was
Fondell,
no-
you're absolutely right. I just told Mr.
Yeah.
Marks, when we sat down in the meeting, I said, this is a draft to sit down with the council members and explain to y'all what our proposal is for phase one. And I said, it's not in stone yet because we haven't even met with all the council members. So I tried to say that in the beginning of all those council members.
Right, and I'm not denying that. What I am saying is, I am hearing that we done sent out for rendering, we done sent out for this, we done sent out for this. Now, that's what I was told.
We have not, no, not with the
So nothing has been done on the, okay.
No, the only thing we did was talk to the consultants about where they would fit in where the rendering they had would fit in that amphitheater. They have no design or anything and stuff.
Well, I just want to be clear on what I'm bringing it up for is once the final draft of the Lake Charles rebound stuff is done for the first tranche, before that, or even when we decide, we know we want to do the project.
Correct.
I just want to sit down and give this council a chance to look at everything to do with that site over there, because $20 million is a lot of money to put into something that
Absolutely.
we can't get to maximize.
I agree with
agree,
that, and I
yeah.
want to make sure the council supports the other projects that we have in the first $60 million.
Correct.
That was the goal of meeting with the council.
Correct.
Because
So-
there's a little bit in every district, we're just trying to make sure we cover
Correct.
the priorities.
One more question. I was under the assumption that the enterprise thing had priority. So, but it doesn't mean that we're gonna complete it. Because now I'm hearing we don't have enough money to complete that project. It's been redesigned from the original, it was a 3 lane with a center lane turn, and they got the drawing on the website. Now, we're redesigning it, and we don't have the money to complete it
Well,
in that project.
if I may say, Mr. Fundell, this is why I'm saying what I'm saying. Me and Mr. Cardone in a meeting can talk about some things that the rest of the council can't talk about because we have history to talk about it. Mr. Cardone explained to me that we're gonna do it, correct me when I'm wrong, section by section. So by the time we get to the second section, we'll be ready to draw down on the next phase of the money to
So-
continue on from that far.
But we have the money to complete a 4-lane project all the way to, without going anywhere else.
I wouldn't say that because with the original, if I'm correct, the original design wasn't 4 lanes.
The original design was a 2-lane boulevard. And I'm having conversations with Mr. Harvey about this, about phase 1, and looking at the other phases at a later date when we draw down on the additional funds. And I hadn't finished that meeting with
Right,
him,
right.
and it's his district, and I'm trying to get it ironed out with him first. And I shared with all y'all in that meeting what our proposal was for phase 1.
Right. And I just want to be clear. I don't want to get into the weeds like you say, because that's Mr. Harvey's
Mr.
district.
Craig, but
Go ahead.
I'm
ahead.
back to the same thing.
Uh-huh.
If it has priority, then to me, that means it should be complete. And that's my question. Are we gonna complete that project or not? Without having to go back to the voters and find more money, or the state? You know, in the writing, it says that enterprise has priority. So I'm assuming most folks think that it has priority to complete it, not to start it, to restart it.
Mr. Fondell, I think all the priorities in LC Rebound that were identified and given us by council members in other districts are priority to all of them.
Okay.
So even if it's not Enterprise Boulevard, it's a priority to them because that's what they approved. And Enterprise is a priority, and our intent is to finish Enterprise.
And
Well,
the intent is to complete it.
I do want to make a notation right there, Mr. Cardone. I'm going to just say it like this, because we can go back and forth. This council needs to have a tutorial on the Lake Charles Rebound Covenant. And I think once we all read it and have it explained by the administration, we can get a better understanding, because when we hear priorities, yes, everybody's projects are priority for them. But when we sold this to the community, we sold it to them on the basis of certain things being primary in this passing of the bond. And I think this council, by right, should have the opportunity to understand that and know what we're voting on. So if we could do that at some point before we start, before we get the money in.
And in those meetings, just so you know, I had a covenant resolution, and I walked through that covenant resolution with all the council members. I even walked through it, I was able to finish out with Mr. Harvey, so I tried to explain to it. I'll be glad to meet again and walk through that covenant resolution on what the projects were. There was 4 different categories and what it requires to change a project. If it's ruled that it's not a viable project right now, and how the council can either vote to do something different with it. So if y'all just give us the opportunity to get through the meeting with Mr. Harvey, which I haven't completed because I've met with everybody else, we'll come back and make another round with all the council members.
Well, I'll just close with this. In the Lake
And
Charles.
Mr. Marks,
Yes, sir.
we're on y'all's team.
I get you.
Well, I've said that
But I
before.
think understanding and transparency is key.
I agree.
And so I just wanted to be clear that priority and priority is different. I mean, it may sound crazy, but when you read this covenant, priority is not the same thing as my priority in my district. It's a priority that we sold this to the public on.
Agreed.
So just to be clear with that. Okay, the other thing I have was the covenant resolution. The Gosport Rec Center, and I'm not getting into Mr. Harvey's district, but I'm asking what's prevalent to the council. We bought some property for parking. And to my understanding, there's conversation, if I'm wrong, correct me, Mayor, about redoing the Gosport Center.
Yes.
And we plan to take that money from somewhere else and move it to the Gosport Center. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, that's what we're looking at. That's what we're exploring. We did a concept drawing of what could be presented, and presented that to Councilman Harvey, since that's in his particular district. But again, it's a concept, so it's pretty much just a rendering of what would happen at that park. We're doing one with Yuba Park. We're doing that with a number of different parks to see what would fit for those communities at these particular periods of time.
And so where are we planning on taking that money from, or moving it from?
Well, some of the money that's gone now for the splash pad came from, that was the COVID funds,
It
right?
was the COVID funds that was moved from J.D. Clifton.
And this other money, where is it going to come from?
but we're still exploring it. You can't talk money until you know exactly what you want to put
So
up.
it's no definite, it's not gonna be taken anywhere. Okay, well, I've been getting calls because I have relatives live on Railroad Avenue. And I know we had plans for that whole area and it kind of fell apart right when you came in on this administration. But I want us to be mindful. If we need to do something with Railroad Avenue, I mean, it's horrible and eventually it's gonna become a problem. And if we're talking about One Lake Charles, we got to consider that as part of it. So I don't know how much funding. I know we had a pot. I don't know if Miss Emily could tell me. It escapes me. We had a pot of money for Railroad Avenue. I don't know what all the parameters was because that's not my district, what it's tied to. But if we're planning on moving that money for that recreation center, I would hope that we would reconsider, at least use portion, but we got to do something with those streets. If we want those people, I'll give you an example. My auntie has a house on Railroad Avenue, and she's in hospice now. So because she's out, the assessor goes out and redoes everything. Now her house is appraised at $169,000 on Railroad Avenue. You understand what I'm saying? We can't have a $169,000 house being appraised by the tax assessor and the streets falling down. That don't match. You know, and I'm saying if the streets are not going to be fixed, that house can't be $169,000. So when we start moving, I'm just asking that we be considerate of those things. You know, if we moving towards your vision of One Lake Charles, we need to be mindful of these places that have been dilapidated for a long time.
That is part of that vision.
Yeah. Okay.
We're going to address everything. I mean, it is One Lake Charles.
Let's see. What else I got? That's when we send out for architects. Now, that's just me, Mr. Cordone. We talked about the PSAs a couple of weeks ago in depth. But some of these projects are gonna require more money. Like for instance, let's say we send out a rendering of the amphitheater. That could really be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars for that rendering, am I correct? To get them to do the work. How does that work into a PSA? I mean, if the PSA is supposed to give us a set price at the beginning, how do they come back and finagle that down the way?
Typically, if you know you're designing an amphitheater or another large project like that, they're both, the A&E agreement and the task order are both PSAs, professional service agreement. But we would not do a PSA, a task order, we would just do an A&E agreement.
So if we have somebody that say they're charging $2, that's their minimum price. When that project comes out, they're allowed to step outside of that PSA and bid on that?
No, sir. I think you're mixing up the contractor with the designer. The designer, we have our own A&E agreements, architect engineering agreement.
That's different from the PSAs?
That is a PSA.
Okay.
A PSA is professional service
agreement, right?
And we have different PSAs. You got a professional service agreement that has what they call a task order or one call, which is small jobs where, like we had somebody reevaluating the parking garage, the Capital One parking garage. Well, there's no design. They're not building anything. We just said, go evaluate it and tell us what you think needs to be done.
Right.
So that's something small, so you do what they call a task order, or, but it's still a PSA. Once you know you're going to design a project, you enter into an A&E agreement. We have our A&E agreements. They're one format, and the rate schedule is the same for everybody.
So the A&E agreement is part of?
Anytime we do a real project where they're designing a project like an amphitheater, building a road, if it's an engineering project, we do what they call A&E agreements. It's still a PSA.
Right.
Professional service agreement, because they're all professionals.
Right.
But it's an architect engineering agreement, and it's not a task order that's done by the hour because it's a small job.
But I guess what I'm asking is, the A&E agreement, when we go out for that, you can use other people that may not have a PSA, correct?
We typically have PSAs with all of them, yes, sir.
So when we bid these projects out for Lake Charles Rebound, we are narrowing it down to the pool that we have the PSA to do the work?
Well, it's any I'd like to be able to meet with you.
Yeah,
I'd like to meet with you on the side and try to explain to you how it works.
Okay.
Because I think we're kind of mixing up a couple of things, and let me try to explain it to you. and
Well,
whoever
maybe
else
it's
will
mixed
do
up
it.
because I'm saying PSA and A&E. I'm just simply saying if a bid comes up for the amphitheater and we go out for bid, are we bidding it out to the public or to the people who
A
we already?
bid is for the contractor. That is.
You don't bid to the.
You don't bid
Okay.
an A&E agreement.
Okay, that's the problem right there. Okay, I got you. All right. With that being said, that's all I have. At this time, we'll move on to the public comment section. We have 3 cards. At this time, how would you like me to pronounce your name, Mr. Miles? Just regular? Mr. Miles. He left a note on his card about how I pronounce his name. They here? Yes. Okay.
Where is it?
Let's see. Terrence Prudham? All right.
All right. Miles Brown, 10204 4th Avenue. I know lately I've been speaking on public records, but I do want to say I've been seeing some vast improvements for the past month and a half. And, a lot of times I'm looked at as a scoundrel for bringing up state laws, and I'm told it's not true, but I'll give credit when credit's due, that lately I've been getting acknowledgments in time. I've also been getting receipts. Whenever there's a record that might be kind of flawed, it gets fixed. I'm not told it's subjective. So it's just really just to let people know that things have been improving over some time. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's wonderful and everything like you want it, but I'm glad to see there are some improvements. So I just want to put that out there. And another thing I wanted to, I know y'all talked a lot on some stuff, and I've been wanting to say it for a while, but I'm glad y'all saying it, so I'm not looking like the bad guy every time I bring it up. But I know you mentioned for quite some time about the Capital One project and trying to get documents, and I've been waiting to see why you still haven't gotten them either. But the thing is, now I'm kind of worried listening to y'all, is this project still gonna be finished in time? Because I remember in October, they said that y'all needed to get this project done, y'all needed to vote on it, but I was told, well, at least what it sounded like, that it needs to get done by a certain period of time or you got to get that money back. So hopefully just going out there, I know I might have had a disagreement of it going to Capital One and going somewhere else, but I do want to still see this project go forward. So hopefully whatever's going on, just listening, that it gets done in time, because all that hoopla about it having to be done in time and then all of a sudden it's not built and all that, it just looks bad. So that's just coming from my perspective. And another thing I want to bring up too is another thing I noticed that y'all have asked for quite some time. Have y'all gotten any paperwork about the enterprise over the past 20 years as far as the funding goes?
Yes.
Y'all have? So that's public record now? I would assume.
It's public record because I don't. You're asking, do we know where we're getting the money from?
Well, you remember how over the past few weeks y'all have asked about you want to see every year how much money has been put into the enterprise project
That was
and
a
the West
different- I know what
Side.
you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, have y'all gotten that yet?
No, we haven't gotten it.
Is there a reason why?
Yes, because Miss Shelley has been swamped and she hadn't been
Okay.
able. She sent me an email stating she's working on it.
Okay.
And I'm good with that.
Okay, I'm just making sure because like I said, I noticed a lot of times y'all ask for stuff, some meeting, they say they'll get back with you, just like the sports thing. So I'm just kind of just making sure that there is some kind of progress as to why y'all haven't gotten it. So I just one of my things I was just curious on. And another thing, I know y'all brought up about the homelessness and all that, and I'm gonna say just growing up, I'm not gonna say it's never gonna be perfect. No matter where you go, it's always gonna be homeless problem. People gonna be panhandling, squattling, whatever. And I'll say at least over the past few years from where I've been at, it's gotten better in some aspects. Now it's not gonna be perfect, nor will it ever be. But I think until you start seeing, well, put it like this, because I'm around the city a lot. I've noticed that when you go to certain areas that are affluent, you don't see as many squatters or many people going and breaking into people's homes like you are in certain areas. And I noticed that the only time that that's going to stop is whenever it goes in certain neighborhoods. Now, I'm not saying that they're purposely allowing it to go in certain people's areas and whatnot, but I remember somebody said they go where the money is. If they go where the money is, why is it not going in all areas where people are breaking in or knocking on people's doors and panhandling? Certain areas I go to, I don't have to worry about leaving a store and looking on my left and right, trying to figure out if somebody gonna ask me for money or go right by my car and ask me for money. But in certain areas, all the time, I've listened to people for the past 2 years come up here in certain areas, and they will come up as a group and say, look, we have this issue here, we have this issue there. But in some areas that are more affluent, I've never seen that happen. People come here and do that same thing. So I'm not saying that this problem is ever gonna get fixed, but I do notice in certain areas, you never have this problem.
Mr. Brown, could I ask you a question? I interrupt you.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it not happening at?
Well, I'm not saying it's not happening nowhere. I'm saying in more areas, there are more panhandling, more squatters.
Okay.
Well, I don't feel the need to. Okay. So, for example, once you start going south of Freon Lake Road and west of Ryan Street, it's a vast
You don't
difference.
spend enough time there.
Oh, I spend a lot of time there.
Because I take the
spend a lot
Nelson
of
Road
time
exit every day, and I have for the past 35 years. They're there every day. They're on a schedule. They're on shift work. They're there so much.
I understand. I'm saying on certain.
It happens everywhere.
Exactly. I understand. It
And I'm
happens
not
everywhere.
Throwing stones.
It happens everywhere.
It happens everywhere.
But I've noticed that quite a bit of times in certain areas. What were you gonna say, Councilman? I've noticed quite a bit of times in certain areas, and I've been there a lot. You don't have people coming up to you asking for money or trying to knock on your door random times at night or doing things. And I'm going by just coming from these city council meetings, a group of people that have come here on many occasions. And I'm not talking about anybody's district, but I've noticed it. I've never seen in certain areas a group of people come, but in certain districts, they have a group of people that always come randomly. Whether it's January 7th of 2025 meeting, when I believe you was here, or before you were councilman, you were here, because we can go back on the video.
Mr. President, the time of the gentleman has expired.
And pretty much, that's all I pretty much had to say. If I had one more minute to close out, that'd be fine. But
What did you need to close out?
well, I just wanted to say that, again, I think I made my point on the homelessness and like I say, and the panhandling. But again, it's really just me starting out saying I have seen improvements with the public records. It's not perfect, but hopefully it gets better as time goes. And I'm not trying to call anybody out.
We
So,
appreciate you.
yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Andrew Smith. State your name and address for the record, Mr. Smith.
Name is Andrew Smith. Address is 4121 West Javon Lane, here in Lake Charles.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to speak on the homeless.
Okay.
I heard that on 3/9/28, I called Congressman Clay Higgins' office, and I filed a complaint concerning the homeless problem here in Lake Charles. Now, according to pending bills, they're still pending, they have not passed. And that's the House Bill 619, and it's the Senate Bill 196, which have not been passed into law yet, that would have banned a homeless encampment throughout the city of Lake Charles, where you would be able to make arrests if they would pass. What I would like to ask you guys is what ordinance is in place to help prevent this plague of the homeless encampment in our city? Do we have an ordinance in place?
Yes, there's an ordinance in place under the nuisance abatements law. There's the ordinance in place about where people can and cannot be on different properties. Now, it doesn't necessarily streamline to homelessness, but some of the things that the homeless are doing breaks the law.
Okay, it breaks the law, but they're not being, they're still there in place. If we can have those two laws, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the House Bill 619 and Senate Bill 196.
Now, I'm not familiar with those.
Okay, the only places I have not seen, I think someone had asked, the only places I have not seen the homeless here in Lake Charles is the Graywood area and the Trail Beach Drive.
Go ahead.
The gentleman that came up, he spoke way longer than I did, and I
Excuse me, Mr. Smith. Let me explain to you how this works.
Yes, sir, please.
When you come up, you can have time donated to you, which means that another citizen gives you their time to speak.
Okay.
That's how he was able to do it.
Okay.
Now, if you need more time, we can give you more time.
All right, please.
Okay.
And I'm about, what I have to say is under 2 minutes.
Okay.
I have brought my concern up to to City Councilman Donald Fondale, in which he stated, and so that will be taken care of.
Yes, and Chief, could you, now, he contacted our
Congressman. Property standard?
property standards. But if he had called the police department, they would have reacted quicker.
It's possible. I don't know what the call was,
No, so
but we do have
we ju-
ordinances
we
about
just-
vagrancy and panhandling, and those people can be cited for being vagrants, and that's what we used to call homelessness, vagrants. There's a softer edge to the whole thing now, but there is no place that we can put them. The jail is not going, we can't arrest somebody for being homeless and go put them at the CCC and then they're out of your sight. Nobody's going to take homeless people into their jail because we don't have enough staff at the jail and we don't have enough space at the jail to put all of them. Right now they're prioritizing violent crimes over there. So
The issue was, he contacted me twice, and and the people are still there today.
Yes, sir, they are.
And my question
we run
is,
them off and they return.
he had called your office and reported that homeless people was living there. You guys would have responded and he would have moved quicker.
But there's no guarantee it would have solved the problem. We could have gone, we could have cited them, warned them that they needed to move on, and they may move on and they may not.
Okay, so, but that's still faster than what we were going through.
I
they got
don't know
a
what
streamlined thing.
I don't know what the process was with them, but it's
You get what I'm saying?
it's not necessarily going to be successful no matter how you go about it.
And just to answer Mr. Fundell's question, yes, you may call the chief and he may send somebody out and they may go out there and cite the people. Yes, that may happen faster than going through property standards. But what the chief is saying, that not going to necessarily make a move. You may still have the problem. You have a reaction faster, but the problem may still be there. Because
So
they could
if-
pack up, leave, and come back.
And that did happen.
Yeah.
The police did go out there, and they went out there a week ago. And once I was on my way here to the meeting, I passed there. They still there, and they have a trash can on site as well. So
They
They're-
probably got
they're very
cited for
common.
littering, so now they have a trash can so they
Yes,
can
sir.
avoid that trouble in the
So
future.
if I may, I think the fundamental problem is we don't have a homeless shelter in our city. You can make people move on, and they're gonna come. I mean, to them, they don't have a home. This is the only place they can survive in. Until we do a homeless shelter, until we provide places for them to eat, provide some sort of support mechanisms, your homeless problem is just going to continue. It's going to move. It may migrate, but you're never going to solve it. So I'm really putting a lot of energy into working about the unhoused situation, and it's not a one size fit all, because like I said, each person has their own story, and they need different types of support to get them out of that situation. But until then, they're not criminals. Whatever hand life dealt them, they're just trying to navigate with it. And I'm not like overly compassionate, because I understand what it does to communities. I've seen homeless folks, but it's really going to take a joint effort by everybody to address this situation. I mean, there was a attempt to purchase a place and provide a homeless shelter, which was a start, but there was so much blowback in the community that kind of fell apart. Maybe you can't put them near residential areas, but that is something that needs to be worked on. You've got Water's Edge, Catholic Charities, all these different nonprofits that's willing to do support for these people, but until you find a place to give them to lay their head, they're just trying to survive.
Yes, sir. And the reason that I really brought it up, I have property on Kirkman Street, and I have it up for sale. But with all the homeless there and with the encampment that's he mentioned, it's hard to sell my
Hard to
property.
sell your property, yes. I understand. It's hard to do business when you're coming out. If you're coming out of a business and people are waiting, asking you for money, and you don't feel safe, that's going to affect those businesses. It is a societal problem that societal remedies are going to have to come in and address.
Yes, sir. I have one other thing, and I'm going to finish. There's an agent that's with Century 21. He's trying to sell my property on Kirkman, and he said that he has property that he's showing, and one of the houses he is showing is burned on the inside. And he found some homeless was occupying the structure on the inside of the house, and a neighbor had extended an extension cord to provide electricity, and they were making meth. He called Lake Charles Police Department and had them arrested. But then later on, as you guys stated, they came back. And so we have a bad...
Do you have that address?
He told me he was going to send it to me.
Okay.
And I guess he got tied up. But I will. And I pray that I can meet with you, Mayor. I have some ideas in place for the homeless.
Yeah.
And with jobs.
If somebody's homeless and they're selling meth, they won't be arrested because they're homeless, but they definitely should be arrested because they're selling meth.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the extended time.
Yes, sir.
Miss Yolanda Beasley?
Yeah, you put the trash.
State your name and address for the record.
Yolanda Beasley, 2525 17th Street, Lake Charles, Louisiana. I'm here because I was here a year ago concerning the tires on 14, the tire shop. I don't know, because I called the state about other stuff, but I didn't call how many tires should be sitting there every day. It's at least 25 open.
Is that 14 and Prayer Lake Road?
No.
You talk about Miami tires.
Miami Tire. And I came last year concerned about a fence. There's no fence, and it's a year later. So what do I need to do now? Call the state? And it's not just that property.
Ms. Beasley, just to answer your question, you came in after Mr. Bilbo was talking about that very issue.
Yeah.
The fence was, the company was mandated to put the fence up. They hadn't followed the rules.
Okay, so what do I have to do next to get a fence from all the way across? Because now they're leaving their garbage can opens and the trash is coming in our neighborhood. At the end of the street where, I think Miss Paula, that's her name, she got in contact with these people, and it was corrected for a minute. Yesterday I passed, there's trash all on the ground. I have a picture of it. I don't know what kind of silver stuff. You still can't see when you turn the corner on 18th Street because the little alley access, because they still have their cars parked where you can't see when you pull out. They're so close to the curb, yeah.
Well, I don't think it's anything you can do right now. It's on us to make them do what they need to do.
Okay, I know I got 1 minute left. I want to discuss that Kroger thing again. Okay, so they're selling washing powder, food trucks, perfume, whatever. I mean, I don't want to see that.
Mr. Begaris just informed us that there's a company. That, Mr. Begaris, can you repeat to her what you told us about the Kroger parking lot? The new, Highway 14, somebody was looking
I
at it.
told you about all the people.
Yeah.
No, the one on 14, trampoline place, whatever you want to
Yeah,
call
he was
it.
talking about,
I see, that's the confusion. Okay.
What my concern was, and now she has the same concern about everything they selling in
The parking lot.
the parking lot on Gershon Memorial, where you got the Fondale Bank for Fondale, not a bank, it was a
The
bank.
insurance company.
The insurance company, and you got a
I think
Sunshine Liquor Store.
I think the quickest remedy, Chief, if I'm not mistaken, can a call be made about them doing illegal? If you got to have a permit to do that, correct?
I missed it, I guess. I
To
didn't
sell
understand
food,
your
to solicit anything
Thank you.
in the parking lot, like to sell food or you're supposed to have a.
You're supposed to be permitted, yes.
Right.
You're supposed
So-
to have a permit to go out and sell food.
So that would be the first thing I would tell you to do. Call it in and let the police go out there and remove them from the site. That's a start. Other than that, we'll have to call the owners.
There's also food trucks there.
Yeah.
That, and you know, I call the state on this one. There's food trucks there, and they're supposed to have a commissary, so many feet.
Right.
And there's none.
they're cooking it on site.
They're cooking it on site. And, I mean, I would like to have it cleaned up. And I am with the Neighborhood Watch, and we did meet. We got one thing done. There, at T.H. Watkins, there were hot boxes with AT&T. Can I get some time?
Mayor and Mr. Cordon, this is Ms. Beasley. She is the president of the Oak Park Alliance.
Okay, I know Ms.
No,
Beasley.
not the Alliance, the Neighborhood Watch.
Neighborhood Watch.
I know Ms. Beasley.
I'm on the Alliance too, though.
Mr. Mark and Ms. Beasley, we're going to send these violations out to the various departments.
Okay.
And they'll all go out there and investigate it for
Okay.
occupational license, for junk, debris, any violation that may exist out there.
Mr. Cordon.
Okay.
One of the places that we may need to call is the health unit as well. Because if they're not licensed to operate those food trucks,
But if they're not, then they don't have an occupational license, and it's our violation as well.
And it's not the health, because I went there too. It's not like the health unit on Prairie Lake is one that's further up, because I went to
They
them.
would be operating a business without a license, which is against our ordinances.
Yeah, and one person did stop, because I went to the state, and I told them, and then I came here and complained. So,
But if they have an occupational license
and they don't
and they don't have the approval from
health.
to be out there on
Right.
Gershon Memorial.
If the property owner considers that a trespass and posts their property, then that would be a violation of our ordinances.
And that might be something to do too, get in touch with the owners and have them post the parking lot.
Yeah, because and look, and eventually, theoretically, if there's a lot of things going on out there that causes any type of issues with the citizens of the city, there's also nuisance abatement ordinances. So there's a number of different tools, but everything has to be set up properly for enforcement.
So just real quick, Ms. Beasley, you got your food truck, what were the other potential violations at the Kroger site?
yeah, there's food trucks, there's people on weekends selling washing liquid, bundles of stuff. I'm sure y'all have seen that. But I'm just asking for help, that's all. Just to,
agree.
because it shouldn't take a year to get a fence up across
And it
that
makes it
whole-
harder to develop properties if potential investors are coming out there and
That's
they
what
can't.
I'm talking
That kind of activity is going on. We'll get with the
Yes,
property
sir.
owner, because that's the first step, is we need to tell them that you have some things going on in your property that we're going to start taking enforcement action, and you know, we'll see where that goes. But
Okay.
We'll go with them.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Beasley. Mr. Begiers, you had something to say?
Just to clarify, the tire shop has been to administrative hearing. We'll send him back to make sure that he's maintaining compliance, and we'll just keep
Which tire shop?
the
Express?
the Miami.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Well, we
so
got
that
two-
has been before. So they are a continual problem, but we will continue to send them to the hearing and fine them as strictly as possible.
But my concern was, how many times do we bring them a hearing
Till it hurts.
until we lock their doors or something?
Come to the mic.
Yeah, come to the mic.
So, there's been a truck there for a year. It's, there's
18-wheeler?
there's vehicles all there all the time. One has been there for a year. I have all my pictures. And now it's adding up, more tires, more tires. So when you walk out when you drive out your driveway, that's all you see is a dump. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, Ms. Beach, I'm letting you know I just spoke on that. All right.
To close out, Chief, one quick question. I've been getting a lot of calls, and we had this issue on Ernest Street with the, is that Kroger's? Albertsons parking lot. When these 18-wheelers come into town and they park in certain areas and they just idle all night, they're getting their wrist. Is that something that the city can go out and, if we call on those vehicles, you can go out and make a move or?
This is something I know that just in my time here, we've gone round and round. I believe signage has been placed on the fences behind Albertsons to let these truckers know that they need to park a certain distance from the fence, but the short answer is yes.
Well, I used Albertsons as the example. Now they're doing it by Morgan Field in the roundabouts. They parking on the side of the roads now and just idling all night, and residents can't sleep. So is that a violation?
Parking on the side of the road
Yes.
is a violation all by itself. If
Okay.
they're just parking there, yes. The noise, it just depends.
Okay.
If it's plainly audible, if it's disturbing, then yes, it can be enforced.
Okay, gotcha. Any other questions or comments? Meeting adjourned?